The Shandilya Upanishad, presented by Swayam Prakash Sharma. Part 4. In the fourth part, Atharvan continues with his discourse on pranayam and the control of breath and the results one gets by doing so. He also tells about the last 4 parts of yoga, which are pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi in the Upanishad. Atharvan tells Shandilya, by contraction, one opens the door of the Kundalini. Having done so, then the person must force open the door of moksha or salvation. The Kundalini is spiral in form and it is coiled like a serpent. It sleeps after closing with its mouth the door of salvation, the Brahmarandra, which is at the crest of the head and which is the door through which a person leaves the body for salvation. The person who is able to awaken the Kundalini and make it move, he is an emancipated person. If the Kundalini sleeps in the upper part of the neck of a person, then it takes him to emancipation. If, however, the Kundalini sleeps in the lower part of the body, then it takes the person to the bondage of the ignorant. The Pran Vayu should avoid the 2 nadis, Ida and Pingala, and instead it should move in the Sushumna. This is the supreme seat of Vishnu. One should always practice control of breath with concentration of the mind. An intelligent man does not allow the mind to wander or rest on anything else. One should not worship Vishnu during the day alone, that is through the Pingala alone, or during the night alone, that is through the Ida alone, or during the day and the night alone, that is through Ida and Pingala alone. One should worship Vishnu all the time. O Shandilya, know that the wisdom producing opening near the uvula, near the palate, has 5 passages. This is the Khechari Mudra. Practice it. For the person who sits in the Khechari Mudra, the Pran Vayu that was earlier flowing through the Ida and the Pingala nadis, the left and the right nostrils, that Pran Vayu now flows through the middle nadi, the Sushumna nadi. There is no doubt whatsoever about this. You should breathe in the air through the void of the Sushumna nadi, which lies between the Ida and the Pingala. That is where the Khechari Mudra is situated, and that is the seat of truth too. Again, that is the Khechari Mudra that is situated in the Akash Chakra in the head, in the Niralamb, or in the supportless seat between the sun and the moon, between the Pingala and the Ida. When a person is able to lengthen his tongue to the length of a kala or a digit by the incision of the fold of the mucous membrane that is located under the central portion of the tongue, then the person should rub and milk the tongue and then fix his gaze between the 2 eyebrows and close the hole in the skull with the tongue reversed. This is the Khechari Mudra. When the tongue and the chit or the mind of a person both move in the Akash or Khechari, then the person with his tongue raised up becomes immortal. A person should press the yoni or sexual organ firmly by the left heel. He should stretch out his right leg, grasp the right foot with both hands, and inhale air through the nose, and practice Kanth Bandh, which is retaining the air upwards. By this, all afflictions are destroyed and poison is digested as if it were nectar. Asthma, diseases of the spleen, the turning up of the anus, and numbness of the skin, all these are removed. This is the means of conquering pran and destroying death. Next, the person should press the yoni or the sexual organ by the left heel. He should place the other foot on the left thigh. He should inhale the air, rest his chin on his chest, contract the yoni, and concentrate on this thought as far as possible. And the thought is that my Atma is situated within my mind itself. By this, the direct perception of truth is attained. Then he should inhale pran from the outside and fill his stomach with it. Then with the mind, he should center the pran in the middle of the navel, at the tip of the nose, and at the toes. This should be done during the 3 sandhyas, during the sunrise, during the noon, and during the sunset. Or it should be done all the time. By this, the yogi is freed from all diseases and fatigue. When a person centers his pran at the tip of his nose, he obtains mastery over the element of air. When he centers his pran in the middle of the navel, all diseases that afflict him are destroyed. And when he centers the pran at his toes, his body becomes light. The person who drinks or who takes air through his tongue, he destroys fatigue, thirst, and disease. Whosoever breathes in air through his mouth during the 2 sandhyas and during the last 2 hours of the night, within 3 months, the auspicious goddess of speech, Saraswati, becomes present in his speech. That is, he becomes eloquent and learned in his speech. In 6 months' time, he is free from all diseases. The person who draws in air by the tongue and then retains the air at the root of the tongue, such a person drinks nectar and he enjoys all prosperity. By fixing the Atma and the Atma itself in the middle of the eyebrows and having inhaled through the Ida or the left nostril and breaking through that center 30 times, even a sick man is freed from his disease. The person who draws in the air through the nadis and retains it for 24 minutes in the navel and in the sides of the stomach, he becomes free from disease. The person who draws in air through the tongue for a period of 1 month during the 3 sandhyas of sunrise, noon, and sunset, who pierces 30 times and who retains his breath in the middle of the navel, he becomes freed from all fevers and poisons. The person who retains the pran together with the mind at the tip of his nose, even for 1 muhurat, which is 48 minutes, he destroys all sins that were committed by him during his previous 100 births. Through the control of Om, a person knows all things. When a person controls his mind and retains it in different parts of the body, he attains different levels of knowledge. When the mind focuses at the tip of his nose, a person acquires knowledge of the Indra world. Below the tip of the nose, he acquires knowledge of the Agni world, the world of fire. In the eyes, he gets knowledge of all the worlds. In the sides of the ear, he gets knowledge of the Nritti world, the hidden dark world of sorrow. In the back of the ear, he gets knowledge of the Varun world. In the left ear, he gets knowledge of the Vayu world. In the throat, he gets knowledge of the Som world, the world of the moon. In the left eye, he gets knowledge of the Shiv world. In the head, he gets knowledge of the Atal world. In the feet, he gets knowledge of the Vital world. In the ankles, he gets knowledge of the Sutal world. In the calves, he gets knowledge of the Talatal world. In the knees, he gets knowledge of the Mahatal world. In the thighs, he gets knowledge of the Rasatal world. In the loins, he gets knowledge of the Patal world. In the navel, he gets knowledge of the Bhur world, of the earth. In the stomach, he gets knowledge of the Bhuvar world, the intermediate world. In the heart, he gets knowledge of the Suvar world, the world of heaven. In the place above the heart, he gets knowledge of the Meher world. In the throat, he gets knowledge of the Jan world. In the middle of the eyebrows, he gets knowledge of the Tap world. And in the head, he gets knowledge of the Satyalok, the world of truth. By conquering dharma and adharma, by conquering righteousness and unrighteousness, one gets to know the past and the future. By centering the mind on the sounds and cries of creatures, a person gets to understand their language. By centering the mind on the Sanchit Karam, which is the past accumulated Karam, whose fruit is yet to be enjoyed, the knowledge of one's previous births arises in a person. By centering one's mind on the minds of others, one is able to know their thoughts. By centering the mind on the Kaya Roop, or on the form of the body, knowledge of other forms arises. By fixing the mind on strength, the strength of persons like Hanuman is obtained. By fixing the mind on the sun, a knowledge of all the worlds arises. By fixing the mind on the moon, a knowledge of the constellations is produced. By fixing the mind on the Dhruv Tara, on the pole star, a perception of motion is induced. By fixing the mind on one's own self, on one's own Atma, one acquires a knowledge of the Purush. By fixing one's mind on the navel, one attains the knowledge of Kaya view, the mystical arrangement of all the particles of the body, so as to enable a person to wear out all his karam in one life alone. Fixing the mind in the well of the throat, freedom of hunger and thirst arising. Fixing the mind on the Kurum Nadi that is situated in the well of the throat, a firmness of concentration takes place. By fixing the mind on the pupil of the eye, a person obtains a sight of the Siddhas, a sight of persons who are spiritual personages. By conquering the Akash in the body, a person is able to soar in the Akash. In short, by centering the mind in any place, a person conquers the Siddhis pertaining to that place. Now we come to Pratyahar, which is of 5 kinds. As you know, dear Shandilya, that the organs of perception revel in sensual pleasures. They take joy in sensual pleasures. When we forcibly withdraw these organs from their respective sensual pleasures, then that is one kind of pratyahar. Whatever one sees, looking upon all that as the Atma, looking at all things that one sees as the Atma, is pratyahar of the second kind. When a person gives up the fruits of observances that has been prescribed for him every day, then that is pratyahar of the third kind. Turning one's face away from all sensual pleasures is pratyahar of the fourth kind. And finally, projecting the vital air into the 18 vital parts of the body in the prescribed order is pratyahar of the fifth kind. And the 18 vital parts of the body are the feet, the big toes of the feet, the ankles, the shanks, the knees, the thighs, the arms, the genitals, the navel, the heart, the throat, the cavity of the throat, the palate, the nostrils, the eyes, the middle of the eyebrows, the forehead, and the crest, the top of the head. The practitioner should perform pratyahar in the order given by projecting upwards into each of them his mind, the vital air, etc., and then withdrawing the same back from them. Now we come to dharana, which is of 5 kinds. Dharana is fixing the mind in the Atma. It is bringing the external Akash into the Akash of the heart. It is contemplating the 5 forms of Brahm, the 5 murtis or forms of the Devatas into the 5 elements. And what are the 5 forms of Brahm? The 5 murtis? These are Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Ishwar and Sadashiv. And the 5 elements are earth, water, fire, air and ether or space. Next is Dhyan, which is of 2 kinds. One dhyan is dhyan of the Sagun, which is dhyan of a murti which has gunas or qualities. And the other is Nirguna dhyan, which is dhyan on an entity which has no qualities. It is dhyan or meditation on the reality of the self. It is dhyan or meditation on the reality of the Atma. And finally, we come to the last limb of yoga, which is samadhi. Samadhi is the union of the Jeev Atma, the individual soul with the Param Atma, the universal, the higher soul, which is devoid of these 3 states. The state of the knower, the state of the known, and the knowledge itself. It is of the nature of extreme bliss and pure consciousness. Yes, it is of the nature of extreme bliss and pure consciousness. This concludes the 4th part of the Shandilya Upanishad. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.